The sound of drums echoed through the streets of Jerusalem. The sky, once blue and peaceful, was now covered in the dust of collapsing walls. The unthinkable had happened. The holy city had fallen. Babylonian soldiers marched like shadows over the ruins of the temple, plundering treasures that once belonged to the God of Israel. The defeat was overwhelming. King Jehoiakim had surrendered, humiliated before the power of Nebuchadnezzar, the feared ruler of Babylon. Among the captives was a young man of noble blood. His name was Daniel. He was just a teenager when he was torn from his homeland and thrown into the unknown, terrifying world of Babylon. But what no one knew was that among that crowd of prisoners walked a man destined to challenge kings, survive unimaginable trials, and witness revelations that would change the course of history. The captives were forced to walk for miles under the scorching sun, carrying on their shoulders the heavy weight of uncertainty. Their fate was not death, at least not immediately. Nebuchadnezzar had more subtle, crueler plans. He didn't want just to conquer lands, he wanted to dominate cultures. His goal was to reprogram the minds of the exiles, shaping them into the image of Babylon. Daniel, along with his friends, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, soon realized they weren't just slaves, they had been chosen. They were taken to the royal palace to receive the best education, the finest clothes, and the king's delicacies. The plan was simple: turn them into Babylonians. Even their names were changed. Daniel became Belteshazzar. His friends became Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. But there was something Nebuchadnezzar didn't know. No matter how much he tried to change their names, he could never change their hearts. Then came the first great test. Inside the grand palace hall, a long table was filled with exotic dishes, fatty meats, and goblets overflowing with the king's finest wine, a tempting feast for anyone who hungered. But Daniel knew those foods were unclean, offered to pagan gods. To eat from that table would be a betrayal of his faith. The others didn't hesitate, and after all, who would refuse such luxury? But Daniel stood firm. He turned to his friends and said with conviction, "We cannot defile ourselves with this royal food. We must trust in our God." The room fell silent. Some laughed, others called him foolish. The king's steward warned him, "If you don't eat and grow weak, the king will be furious. This could cost me my life." But Daniel offered a test. "Give us only vegetables and water for 10 days, then compare us to the others. If we look weaker, we'll do as you say." The steward hesitated, but agreed. For 10 days, Daniel and his friends rejected the king's feast and ate only what was permitted by God's law. At the end of that period, they looked healthier, stronger, and wiser than all the others. Even Nebuchadnezzar noticed something different about them. They had passed the first test, staying faithful in something small, unaware of the greater trials still to come. And they could not have imagined that the very king who destroyed Jerusalem would soon fall to his knees before the God of Israel. That same night, King Nebuchadnezzar had a dream so disturbing that he woke up in a cold sweat. He felt it wasn't just imagination. Something deeper was hidden in that dream, something beyond his understanding. He summoned all the magicians, astrologers, and wise men of Babylon. And when they stood before him, he gave them an impossible challenge. "I had a dream, but I won't tell you what it was. If you are truly wise, you must tell me the dream and its meaning." Panic spread through the palace. The wise men were speechless. One dared to speak. "Majesty, tell us the dream, and we'll interpret it." But Nebuchadnezzar refused. "If you can't tell me the dream, you will all be put to death." When Daniel heard about the king's decree, he calmly asked for time. That night, he and his friends prayed to God, asking for the answer, and God revealed the dream to Daniel. The next day, Daniel stood before the king. "O king, no man can reveal what you dreamed, but there is a God in heaven who reveals mysteries, and he has shown you what is to come." The room fell silent. "In your dream," Daniel continued, "you saw a great statue. Its head was made of gold, its chest and arms of silver, its belly of bronze, its legs of iron, and its feet, a mixture of iron and clay." The king's eyes widened. It was exactly as he had seen. "Then," Daniel said, "a stone was cut out, not by human hands, and it struck the statue's feet, shattering it completely." "What does it mean?" asked the king. Daniel replied, "You, O king, are the head of gold. After you will come another kingdom inferior to yours. Then a third, made of bronze, that will rule the earth. Then a fourth, strong as iron, that will crush everything. But in the end, it will be divided, just like iron and clay that do not mix." The king was stunned. "And the stone?" "That stone is the kingdom of God," Daniel declared. "It will destroy all these kingdoms and endure forever." And something unimaginable happened. Nebuchadnezzar fell to his knees before Daniel and said, "Truly, your God is the God of gods and Lord of kings." But even after acknowledging God's power, the king had not yet learned humility. His pride still reigned in his heart, and he dared to challenge the Creator once more. He ordered a massive statue to be built, this time entirely of gold, a symbol of his supposed eternal reign. He declared a decree: all must bow before it. But 3 men refused. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego remained standing, while the entire empire bowed. They were thrown into a blazing furnace. But when the king looked inside, he saw not 3, but 4 men, walking unharmed. And that day proved once again that the God of Israel is the one true God. Thus unfolds the book of Daniel, with miracles, kings who bow before the Creator, visions of the end times, and a question that still echoes today. Are we watching these prophecies come true before our eyes? If everything Daniel foresaw has already happened, what remains may be closer than we think. Are you ready? If this story impacted you, don't forget to now leave your like and subscribe to the channel. Here on Minutos Sagrados, we continue to explore the greatest revelations of the Bible. And if you want to understand more about prophecy and the end times, click now on one of the videos on your screen. May God bless you, and we'll see you in the next video.